Welcome to Creative Pages with Catherine Live. I'm Catherine, and it's time for the April 2024 Creative Memories Virtual Crop Earth Day bonus sketches. I'm going to be working on sketch number 3. And for this one, I have pulled back out my Serene Waters Collection. Go figure, I have a lot of scraps from this one. After doing that entire Fast to Fab album a couple weeks ago, I have quite a few scraps, and I may actually need to do another scrappy layout coming up. But this was kind of fun. I'm going to show you what I'm doing with the sketch here. Let me get things switched over real quick. There we go. So I had an entire stack of scraps. I'm going to show you all in a minute. But first off, here is our sketch. And if you want a screenshot to see what I've done, there's a lot there because there's a lot on here and different sizes, and I really did not cut a whole lot. I essentially went through my scrap folder and I created a pile that looks kind of like this. And I sized up all of my sizes of strips. In fact, I already had some that were marked. I've got a half inch, an inch and a half, 3/4. It's kind of crazy how many scraps I have from this collection. And look, I've got a whole nother batch of 12-inch strips also that I think we might do, like, I don't know, some kind of peekaboo layout or something. I'm calling it a peekaboo layout because that's what comes to mind, but maybe we'll just do one of the fractured layout. I don't know. Anyways, so I've got the right side of the page here, but I'm going to move this aside. You can see I've had a bunch of 3/4-inch strips along with some vellum. So we are going to be using up some of my vellum too. Yay! I think I have one piece of vellum left with this collection. And we're also going to use this other piece here. These are 1.5-inch strips. Let me double check my sheet here. Yes, I have 8 1.5-inch strips, and then this is a 1-inch by 12-inch that's going to go kind of across the bottom, and we're going to go ahead and place these down. And you can see these are not all the same length because essentially I pulled out my scrap pile, and like I said, I matched up sizes, and then this is what I'm going with. And on the sketch, it was kind of interesting because I kept looking at this and looking at this, and I actually had to go back to the blog and figure out what the heck this was, because it's very unusual for a sketch to look like it. I didn't know if I was supposed to put down the strips and then take my scissors and try to cut them on the layout or what they were doing there. And on um, the one that they put with this, Melissa Ullman, who's the one who originally designed the original layout that sketch is based on, she had actually taken and cut a little bit of an end off her piece on the 12-inch trimmer to create kind of an interesting look with our riveting collection, which is one of our newer collections that came out this year. So you can check that out using the link in the description box below this video. I always link the blog post that has the sketches on it, and then from there you can go to our blog and just search the riveting collection, I think is how I wound up taking a look at that one. So wound up needing a little more explanation than I thought I would there. This is going to go just directly on the bottom here. I'm lining it up at the edge of the paper, and I just, like I said, these were strips that were in my stash. This one actually even has a little bit of a indenture on it, but you know what? It is going to get covered up by our strip. In fact, I'm going to put this one up just a little. So it kind of reminds me a little bit of the one that we did yesterday. Was it the second one? Where things were sort of at different levels. Let me see if this is going to get covered up too. So maybe I should go, I don't know if I want to go up or down. I think I'm going to go up a little bit more first here. And then this one's really tall, so let's see where this one lands. Oh, that's going to be up even more. And then this one's going to be shorter by a significant amount, so I will put it up a little bit also. But just kind of showing off our different lengths and our different colored papers that are part of this collection, and I happen to have in my stash. Okay, this one actually is going to go up just a little bit from that one. And then finally our fish are at the end, and I'm okay if we're going to see a little bit of the end of our paper here. It's fine. Of course, I put that slightly crooked, so I'm going to fix that. There we go. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and put our 1" by 12" strip across our page here at the bottom. So we're going to cover up all this bottom part where I offset some of these to hide that some were really quite a bit shorter than some of the other ones that were quite a bit longer. And that kind of creates a little bit of the look of what was here. I mean, you could do all straight because they do have a couple on the end here that were straight, but really, I mean, the sketches are definitely open to interpretation, so you do what works for you and for your pieces, because like I said, I had just some really, really unusual pieces. Hang on. Oh, we've got a train going by. Yay! I knew I wanted to show, this is Serenity, but don't mind me. I'm going to show y'all something because my, what shall we call these? Mats for this layout are also not going to be, let me get my zero centering ruler, are not going to be traditional either. And so, whoops, we're going to go 1 inch in. And I think I've shown you all before where our zero centering ruler does have markings to show you. The grid runs so you can see there's 1 inch. It'll show you where 1 inch in is on your paper. Here, I guess you can see with my hand behind there. And then obviously I just was able to get it centered between the 4s on my ruler. I love that ruler. Makes things so easy and quick to get centered on your pages. If you don't have one, I highly recommend it. Okay, so the strip I just put down was a 3 3/4 by 8 inch strip. And then on this right side, I have a 2 3/4 by 5 3/4. And this is the same paper. You can see the pattern matches, but I wanted my, because this was running a different way. Anyways, just working with the patterns. I liked the horizontal look, and with the sun in particular, I kind of wanted to go around our sun here a little bit. This is going to go a little bit closer to the edge of the page, maybe about 1/4 of an inch in here. And then this one is 3 3/4 by 5 3/4. So 2 3/4 by 5 3/4 and 3 3/4 by 5 3/4. Very unusual mat sizes for me, but that's what I had. Again, working with the scraps. Oh, did I not? Yes, I did. Okay, thought I had a repeat of yesterday. What can I say here? I'm not even overly tired yet. It's still morning here. We haven't even had lunch yet. There we go. Might be a little bit crooked on that one. Yes, I am. Okay, multi-purpose tool. Where are you? We're going to use this one. I don't know if y'all got the last secret box, but they had this really fun multi-purpose tool in it, or a green version of our multi-purpose tool. And y'all know how much I love this one too. This is so inexpensive and so helpful. Okay, so why did Catherine pull out the 4x6 mat from Serenity? I wanted to show you where I'm going to put 4x6 photos on this page with my mats. Now you can cut your photos down a bit, but we're actually, see here, because I kind of am highlighting our sun that's in the middle of this page. So you can have one here. Let me Let me grab out my whole stack here. What can I say? I know it's not going to go with the collection per se, but we're also going to have one here, so you can bring that down and over a little. And then you can cut part of your index sheet to make a journal box here, or you can do a smaller photo. Well, here's an interesting one for a journal box. Underneath your other photos, just right up to the top of the page. So you can see if you have a photo that's maybe a landscape or something, put your two people photos in the front. You can have your landscape in the back, and that's off a little bit, but you know what? That's okay. You get the idea, hopefully. If you center it, and then you have this extra little edging around. Hopefully you all can see that. Let me see if I can pick it up and show you. Whew. I'm going to try it. Keeping everything intact, but there you go. See, you can easily fit 3 photos and 3 larger photos on this page. I'm not done putting my embellishing on, but I wanted to give you that extra idea. I know a lot of times I talk about it and I kind of tell you all, but I just thought this actually gives you a formal visual showing an actual 4x6 size. And since I'm out of mats from Serenity, I have to show it with Serene Waters, or I'm sorry, I'm out of mats from Serene Waters, so I had to show it with Serenity. What can I say? Getting all my collections mixed up here, apparently. Like I said, I'm not even that tired. Maybe I need to have lunch. I don't know. So here, I've got one last little embellishment here, which is our ship, and I thought that would actually look really good here because we have just a couple of darker mats in here, and it's just gonna add a little bit to our page. And then I pulled some stickers as well. I guess I could have popped that one up. That's okay. There we go. We're gonna put our little tackle box down here. I've got a couple of words, and I've got the starfish sticker. So these are, I just went through what stickers I have left as well. Let's center our on the beach one because it just makes sense to kind of have some of these things centered a bit within the inch. There we go. So it's about, oh, look at that. That's a 2-inch word thing. So I'm going in between the 1-inch marks there. And then we have friends and family. So this one will go here. Whoops, dropping the back end of that. Friends coming in on this other side here. Okay, y'all survived me putting together the left side of the page. Thank you for sticking with me for that. And let's get the right side of our page put together as well. Bring this in. Oh, I forgot to grab out my vellum tape runner because I know I'm going to need it for this side because we have 2 pieces of vellum going down on the side. Yep. There we go. It's a good thing I have these things close. Otherwise, it would be even more interesting live streaming. Okay, so another 1-inch by 12-inch strip for this side of the page. And then I have a whole batch of 3/4-inch strips. Again, like I said, when I started making stacks of different size strips, I had one that was 1.5 inches, one that was 3/4, one that was 1/2 inch, one that was 2 inches. I have a lot of scraps from this collection. Some of it's from doing that sunburst layout still. And some of it's just from doing all the live streaming a couple weeks ago with this collection. So I have a 7 and, oops, that's on the top. I'm sorry. And you know what? I did not measure this piece of vellum. Probably because I'd already put the other pieces on it. So this is, looks like it's 5 1/4 by 12 inches for this piece of vellum. It's the one that has kind of the water droplet look to it. Get my vellum tape runner started here. I'm just going to add some pieces. This tape runner is always, it just has a different feel to it, I guess because our tackiness required for vellum and the type of tape so you don't see it as much through the vellum is different. And let me get my bone folder so I can burnish this a bit. Okay, so that is our vellum for the bottom. I have flipped over all of my 3/4 inch strips, and we're going to add some tape runner to those. And again, we're going to place it kind of like how we did on the other side, where it's going to be in a little bit of a pattern. Now I have 12 3/4 inch strips, which means we're going to have a little bit of our vellum showing in between these. I think I have 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I think, yep, 12. Usually I'm pretty good at counting these things before I go live, but not sure why I doubted it. It just making sure here. So we will have a little bit of vellum showing through in between our strips. And again, we have some that are taller, some that are shorter. We're just going to go with what we have. I will create another kind of off-center thing. And I guess I did forget to mention that we are flipping the sketch and we are changing up our mats just because I did want to use up as many scraps as possible with this layout. Just thought it made sense. After all, it is the Earth Day challenge. So might as well use what I have. Let me double check this one, make sure I don't go too high. I want to make sure that seam gets covered and doesn't show. Oops, I meant to stick this over just a little bit. And it is okay to use the regular tape runner on these because this is the regular paper. I'm going to lightly place these, I think, so I can see how much is going to show in between of the vellum. I'm just not sure, and I kind of had them so lightly down before that it really, I guess it's going to be like kind of like a 1/16 of an inch maybe in between. I'm really not sure. So I'm placing them pretty close, but with just a little bit of the vellum showing through behind it. Some are trying to stick down on me and some are being kinder, just letting me place them gently. And these might not all be exactly 3/4 of an inch either. It's just the closest measure I could get. Okay, yep, I do need to actually put these closer together. That's interesting. Because I have one more strip that's going to go in between here, and I don't have space for it. So that's really quite interesting. So I'm just going to go ahead and lay them up next to each other then. We'll see what happens when I get to the middle here. Scoot this over, grab my multi-purpose tool again because this one has to come up because I did push that one down. There we go. Since that was early on. Back. We'll need it rolling into our layout here. Oops. That one tried to stick also, as you could hear. It is what it is sometimes. I'll leave just I'm trying not to put these exactly next to each other, but it's trying to get them really close, so it's hard to figure some of this placement right now. Oops, that just got stuck to my finger. No, okay. There we go, thank you. And now this one's going to scoot over so we have space for our other one in between, because we don't want these two light ones together. We want something in between those two. When I measured, these were 3/4, but maybe it's, I don't think it's an actual inch. Ah, you know what, it is an inch. Just about an inch. So some of them are an inch and some of them are closer to 3/4, but you know what? It is what it is. It is on the page. This one is definitely an inch. Okay. Don't need the vellum tape runner anymore, so I'm going to put that away. Oh, yes, I do need it actually, because we have another piece of vellum for the top of this layout. I had an extra smaller piece from I don't know what, but it was in my scrap bag, so I went ahead and pulled it out so we could use it for this one. Again, just working really hard to use up these odd shaped scraps. This one was, I know this one was one I cut for that live stream, because I cut a little bit off of it from one of these other borders. So this is short, if you will. So this is 11.5 by 3 inches. So we're going to have 1/4 of an inch on each side of this one to center it. And I'm going about 1.25 inches down from the top of the page. Yep. 1.25 inches down from the top of the page. And then we're going to layer on our vellum piece. This is the one with the orangey golden waves on it. And that's just going to layer over and accentuate what we have going on our page here. Okay. Put this here centered as best you can. I guess I probably could pull my ruler out again just to make sure we do get this one centered. Where are we? At the 4s, just inside of the 4s. So here are the 4s, because we have this piece is, what is this piece? This piece is 7 3/4 by 4.5. So yeah, we're at 3 7/8 inside of the 4s on our zero centering ruler here. Get this one burnished. It's a lighter vellum. You can see the tape a little bit more. And then when you burnish it, it all minimizes, goes away, so it's not as visible to your eyes. And I'll show you again real quick here where you can place your photos. Right here. I mean, you can do, you know, the 2 going down and 1 going across again, kind of like you did on the other side. If you have a larger photo, let's see, here's one of our 4.5 by 6.5 mats from Serenity. You could easily bring that down or bring it over and put another one here, because you kind of want to highlight a little bit of the orange as well as the vellum, because you took the time to put it on your page. So here's showing 2 larger mats on this side of the page. There you go. And now let's get our stickers across the bottom of this page. So I had a bunch of seashells still in my sticker set. So I thought, let's go ahead and pull in some different colors from our seashells, because they'll coordinate with the strips up here as well as the colors on the other side of the page. And I'll show you them both together. here in just a moment. I'm going to get one other seashell that was not the, I don't know. I always think of a conch shell, but I guess conchs are kind of a form of slug or snail, or well, it's a snail when it has a shell, right? So maybe these are snail shells, maybe these are conch shells. I don't know what the designers intended, but let's go at 2.5 here. And get that lined up as well. There we go. Okay. So that is our stickers for the right side of the page here. There you go, going across the bottom there. A few darker, a few lighter. Here we go. And here we go. Whew. Felt good to use up so many scraps for this one. I can tell you that much. And here it is side by side. What do y'all think? You can leave me a comment. You can leave me a thumbs up. I think it worked out pretty well. All in all, and look at all those scraps I got to use. 12 and 8 and 3 in the top here and 2 in the top there. So 20-ish scraps. I'm going to hold this up again. Make note that this was 1 inch, not 3/4. In fact, I will do that real quick for you all as well. Sorry about that. Usually I'm pretty precise with it, but this one threw me. Well, I think because I was just stacking up so many different sizes there. So there's the correction on that. And there is the layout. Remember, like I said, we flipped it and we changed up the mats based on what other scraps I had in my scrap bag. And I still have, like I said, a whole bunch of scraps. Like I said, I think we're going to do either peekaboo or a fractured layout with this coming up as well, because I know Serene Waters is almost sold out on the website, and nobody probably wants to buy a bag of scraps from me in my spring sale. So, but if I can come up with a pretty layout with it, somebody might want the layout. We'll see what happens. And that is it for our Earth Day sketches. This was sketch number 3. I should be on again tonight with the Revved Up Collection introduction and the You Graduated Collection to introduce as well. Until next time.